Hey guys, how's it going? Today I'm going to be talking about the free version of ChatGPT agents, and it is very good. I'm going to say I'll show you some of the examples that I've personally used this with. Um, this is something that I've been looking for quite a while, and it hasn't been there yet up until recently with the new update to Agent Zero that supports Open Router fully. Um, and with the new release of the Kimmy K2 model, which uses tools very well, it's basically like a DeepSeek but larger. I think it's like 1 trillion parameters versus like 7 or 600 something for DeepSeek, but it's focused on mostly the tool use. So whereas if you try to use like a DeepSeek in Agent Zero or like agentic use cases, it doesn't really call um, the tools very well, whereas Kimmy K2 is just really good at tool calling. One of the other great models I'm going to recommend for calling, which you can run locally, is Mistral, which is also recently released, and that's a local variant. You can use your um, LM Studio to open it up and plug it in, so you can always just get the Devstral Small 2506. That should work. I've really saw that NVIDIA has a really good one. So the NVIDIA um, Nimitron Llama 33.3 Nimitron Super 49B V1, that is also pretty good for tool use. Um, it is quite big, so you might need two GPUs to run the Nimitron. So, you know, and again, you are battling context length at this point. So, um, uh, for now, I've only been using the Kimmy K2 version and just paying for it. And, it's been like $3 or something so far. So let's talk about installing the Agent Zero. Just go ahead and really just watch this guide that's on their website. I'm not going to go into detail just because it's so easy. All you have to do is install a Docker. And once you install Docker, it's right there as an image. So you just search it up, Agent Zero run. You click the run, except make sure that you have, once you finally run it, you have to put host port 0. So if you put host port 0, then you can actually, access the terminal, or sorry, the web UI, which will look something like this, right? So you're gonna get like a new chat, and you're gonna get this terminal. So let's just go over some of the things that why I'm really hyped about this, and why this is basically the free version of ChatGPT Agent. So first of all, you can use any model that Open Router has with this as a brain, and you can use multiple models with this. So if you go to let's just go over it. If you go to settings, you have all of these basically models you're plugging into the agent. So when you're talking about agent configuration, one of the main settings is going to be like Agent Zero, which is like the agentic use case. There's a researcher or default or developer. I've been using the Agent Zero and researcher. Researcher just like a quick way of uh, sending it. Sorry, sending it a request, kind of like Google. It's going to go ahead and research a bunch of websites and give you the details. Agent Zero is going to try to make a bunch of calls for tool use. You can like ask it to make like a game, ask it stuff. It will run tools and generate code and then save the code for you as well. So you can run it. And some of the setup process here, just selecting the Open Router as your chat model basis. Again, you can use LM Studio or like a Hugging Face one. So if you want to use like a 04 Mini free, I think there's like a Hugging Face version on there, and you could just plug it in, and you can basically use ChatGPT 4 for free. You can use Olama. You can use anything else. Honestly, it's pretty much as open source as free and open source as you can get it. You can use Grok. What I've been using recently is just the Moonshot AI Kimmy K2 and specifically the Targon. I know it's not as friendly and towards being not like it saves some of the data. So when you go to Open Router and let's say you go to Kimmy K2, there will be exclaimers that it does prompt training. So it's going to save your prompts and the prompt is logged for a while. But the input cost is like 14 cents and output is 2.49. So I've just been using just because it's cheap. Otherwise, there's always other options. There's so many other options. Some of them are more expensive, but the context length is like 131K. And obviously, this one is FP8, and the other ones, you can choose non-FP8 versions if you really need the coding. Precision shoots is pretty good as well. But, you just check to make sure that the prompt training, however you want it, is true or not true. There's ones from Moonshot AI. It's false, but it's kind of slow. Bayesian, also no training, right? And zero retention. 60 cents, right? Instead of the 0.14. But as this gets further down in development, because Kimmy K2 is pretty new. Like basically this week I saw all these come up. So and if you get super speed, you got like throughput of 310, it's super fast. Again, I'm just using this one because of the cost, and I'm not really doing too many things with it. All right, so for some of the personal stuff, I did switch over to personal use cases with like zero logging, but it's pretty easy to switch over. Okay, let's go over to capabilities. So some of the capabilities of this is, let's continue with what we did. So there's the Open Router chat model. You also have the utility model. So this is the model that you're gonna, use as a cheap version, organizing memory, etc. So 4.1 nano is standard. If you want to use like a local version, you can do that. But I'm just gonna go ahead and use the nano because it's pretty cheap. There's a web browser model. So it's gonna use the Vision web browser. And I think some of the versions for this with Vision, you know what, I don't remember, but GPT 4.1, that is a pretty good version. Again, you can select anything here that has Vision enabled or non-Vision, but I recommend Vision. And their embedding model for embeddings, just it's standard. You don't need to do anything. And also there's a speech model, but I haven't played with it yet. I've just mostly been playing with using basically Kimmy K2, and I've just been blown away. All right, let's go over some of the things that it did for me. So one, I just asked it to create a Pokedex just like as a test. And as you can see here, what happened with the chat history here is I had, well, it's pretty long. I had the prompt create a 3D preview of a Pokedex with 3D models that I can open in HTML. And so it went ahead and devised the plan how to do this. It went and called the tools. So it has a tool engine. Then it basically tried to get all of the names. So it got, 151 names, right? And then it created a Pokedex. So once it was done, it created the HTML file in the downloads, and you can go ahead and just, download it. It's gonna, download, and you can open it in a web browser. There it is. So I didn't like the 3D previews here because they are just, polygons, but it does have um, pretty interesting UI. You can filter stuff. You have all the stats here. Not that I know anything about Pokemon in terms of stats, but it did that. Also, I'm gonna say that. Sorry, am I on the correct? Yeah, I think so. Okay, then I asked it to actually create me 3D models because I didn't like those. So it went ahead and revised that and created um, new export of HTML file, which is, sorry, let me just see where it is. Here, this is the enhanced version. So um, right? So this is the enhanced version, and so it has 3D models. So you have, can you see this? Sorry, I'm too big. So it has 3D models of the Pokemon now, like actual models. And then you got your, attack defense, I guess, over here. What's a cool one? Let's see if it got Zapdos. Okay, so it even got Zapdos. You can zoom in. You can, it did that. Okay. Again, I iterated on this a couple times, back and forth, just like seeing if it can do sprites. It can do sprites. Um, I changed the model out a couple times just to see if the different models, how they behave, right? And eventually, yeah, I think I changed out the model here. This one, let me just see. One of them was pretty cool because it had, yeah, it had one of these motion sprites, and so I did like this one quite a lot because they kind of move. Eventually, I got it to like become like a much bigger moving sprite. Anyway, the point being, the point being, um, and I think this one might have went up pretty high as well. Yeah, so this one basically, I think it went up to like 1,000. So we got all the Pokemon, like 1,000 or something, 1,100 or something. And they all are basically moving sprites. And this is just like a quick HTML file. Okay, let's move forward with, if you're not impressed yet, let's just continue. Let's continue. Let's see. I asked it to make a trip to Japan, which was, it's standard. It's pretty impressive, right? So here's your basically like a couple's vacation to Japan. Um, it's not as this one is not as impressive, but I think my prompt could have been better. And I'm going to say that like this is not one of the most impressive things, but if your prompt is much better, it will become much better. So let's continue on to my latest chat, which is something called image generation, right? So I wanted to generate me an image. It does not have like an image generation platform on it. I do have Stable Diffusion locally installed, but it's not on this computer, right? What the computer that I'm showing you this from, it's actually not where this agent is running. And so this agent is running on a laptop, somewhere like in the living room, like on an old laptop, because, and it doesn't, it has some generation ability, but honestly, it's a laptop, can't really load Flux or anything. So I knew it wouldn't be able to, as I basically don't have anything on there. It went ahead and tried to install. Sorry, here it is. I'm just gonna go ahead to the top here. So I tried to figure out if it can go ahead and install. Tried to go ahead and install the Flux model locally at some point. So right now here it's doing like a Stable Diffusion 2.1 on Hugging Face, and so it did give me an image generation of the screenshots here. It said, oh yeah, it works, but it was pretty horrible, and so I didn't like it. So I'm just going to show you what it did in the first time. So it said, nah. So this is the image you got me, right? Which was pretty horrible. So I said, no, I want something better. Give me a Flux version. So what it tried to do here is it went to Flux 0.1 model on Hugging Face, which it was not able to load for whatever reason, right? At that point, or you couldn't find the right one. Then it said, okay, it can't do it. It's going to try to install. So it tried to actually install Flux on that laptop, which, you know, it's kind of iffy, but because this is like in a virtual environment, it's probably not going to be able to do it. So it kind of got through it. Again, it's in a virtual environment. And it didn't work well, right? It said it could not do it. And so it couldn't do the Hugging Face space for Flux because they couldn't find the right version. I tried to pull API, can do it. Tried to find FLux1 context. It said it's paid for whatever reason. And local installation, it was not able to use the hardware because it's in a virtual environment, ENV, and I didn't give it access to the GPU. Sorry, like I didn't give it access to install that stuff. So it failed. And here's the crazy stuff, okay? Here's where the story gets pretty crazy. Okay. Agent 0 has something called memory. And so, and web navigation, kind of like the other agents. So it can go through the websites, clicking on buttons and execute commands this way. And so I showed it the link for like a ChatGPT one, but it was kind of complicated, so obviously it couldn't do it. It just wasn't loading. But eventually I gave it a link with something called Spaces Black Forest Labs Flux.1 dev. And the reason I said is I don't like the 2.1 version you gave me earlier. Go ahead and use it. And as you can see here, maybe you can see it. It might be a bit small, but it did go ahead onto that web page, and here's the screenshot, right? So it went to that web page, it filled in the positive prompt, and I clicked run. Okay, this is the image that it got, and then it saved it. All right, so here we have it at the end. It said, yes, we did it. It it saved an image, and here's the final image. I'm just gonna download it to show you guys. Here it is. And so this is the image that I got from Flux1 dev. Obviously, this is pretty good, but not the best. You know, I have to like really work into it, the website where it had to go, and obviously you're not going to be doing that. It's just too complicated, right? Because you have to say, oh, just use this link and then etc. It was too complicated. But there is something called memory for this agent. So I said, please add this last prompt as a skill. So it's going to remember that this process that it did to go and generate an image. And so the next time you're in a chat and you ask it for an image, it's going to remember that this is one of the ways that it is able to process or create an image. And so here it's stored it in knowledge. This is the memory ID that it's stored it in, and it will automatically use the proven Flux F1 dev method and apply the special prompt style. Okay, here's the thing. This can be used for other things. You can set up a Google account with, password. You can give it an email address. This becomes very powerful when it has memory across different contexts, different chats. And so I did test that it does work. So in the latest image gen test, all I did here, I said, generate an image of Tokyo. Notice I did not give it any link. I did not say use Flux. And so the first thing it did, it tried to install Torch again, which, did not work. It should probably not do that. But then it remembered that it can use the anime style to generate a Tokyo, image of Tokyo with Flux F1 dev. Maybe next time I'll, probably not say anime style. But look at this. It figured out that it can actually create images now. So going forward, if I want to, let's say, have it create a kid's book, it can use this method to generate actual images. And the thing is, like, what is blowing my mind is not only that the new Kimmy K2 is so powerful at using tools, that this agent, it has memory, context memory, through all different chats. And if you set up the memory correctly while, giving it resources like create a new Gmail account for it, let's say, it can start emailing stuff. You can obviously create more things for it, and it will go ahead and do that. And yeah, so unfortunately, this is like pretty much almost the end for all jobs, is, the existential crisis I'm having right now because of how powerful it is getting and how quickly it's getting. Because we just saw agents on ChatGPT, and now we have a free version of that. If you have the horsepower to do it locally, you can. Yeah, so I don't know if this video blows up and you guys are all using this. I think we are all doomed. So maybe don't like this video. So it's me from the future editing, and I forgot to mention that I don't really use this whole thing from the computer. The only reason I'm on the computer here for you is just to record. And guess what? I'm actually on a different computer than where it's running. So I remember I told you guys that this is running on like an older laptop somewhere in the room. But what I've been really using this with is, like I'm doing everything now, is on the phone. And I'm basically taking this agent with me everywhere. And so I think it is important for you guys to use this because it's basically changing my life as well. Your phone is basically a portal to your local network and your local agents that you are accessing. The way you do this is so easy for Agent Zero. I don't even know how to explain it. Okay, first off, all you need to do is under the containers or extensions, sorry, when you go to Docker. So in your Docker, there is something called extensions. All you have to do is click on that, you type in Tailscale. And Tailscale is basically a way for you to access your local network, like let's say that, um, from anywhere else. And so it's basically like a VPN. Okay. So once you've done that and you log into Tailscale, you log in with your Google account, I guess, or whatever account you want. You get it on the phone as well. And so you log it on the phone. And then what you're going to do is you are going to type in the port, or basically without HTTP, you're going to type in the name and port, which is actually shown on the terminal. You'll see this in the terminal. And if this is not clear enough or not, it's still confusing, I can show this in a different video. But honestly, all you have to do is look at the terminal. It's going to give you that it's, my computer is called Shadow 2, or that laptop. So whatever your laptop name is, /docker desktop, and then the port number. And all you have to do is type that into like a Chrome browser, anywhere else that you have Tailscale enabled. So you have to enable Tailscale on your device. And yeah, that's it. So once you enable Tailscale, you type that in and you can open your window, which is open on your like laptop or server somewhere else, and access it through the browser on your phone or a laptop or iPad. Honestly, I have it on so many things now. Yeah, so I can go ahead and use the same chat window I have here on the phone. Using it again, I showed you guys in the prior ones with Silly Tavern, Open Web UI. But go ahead and use Tailscale with your Agent Zero, taking your agent everywhere with you. You can download the files, especially on your phone, and run them from there. You can, let's say you say, oh, I need this research done. Honestly, one of the things was I was like, I don't know what what pillow to get, because I need like a cooling pillow or something. And I'm like, just give me all the research on it. And it did that. And I looked it up, like, oh, well, great, people are saying it only works for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So I like knowledge that is going to be with you, saved on all your devices right away. And again, you can also, if there is something important that you remember and you needed to put it into memory, it will also remember that. Whereas, Google, which I'm really upset with, does not remember through chats. Like I'll be in one chat and then I'm like, okay, where's my other chat? And yeah, that's just a pet peeve that it doesn't have the consistent memory through the chats for some reason. I'm chatting with it, and then it starts going off in a completely different tangent, which makes sense. You're cleaning the browser, but yeah, this one will have memory if you save it to memory. All right, thanks again. Please go ahead and subscribe and like this video if you like this video. Go ahead and try out Agent Zero for yourself and let me know what you use it for. Leave in the comments what you use it for and any other tips. Maybe I missed stuff. Again, I'm not a professional on this. I'm just like an average Joe, guys. I follow this stuff. I follow all the videos that you guys watch probably. Honestly, I'm like one of you guys, just watching stuff and trying to figure this out with you. So just contributing to the society, I guess. And if you think something is wrong, want to correct it, please go ahead and leave it in the comments. I do not delete comments, even if they're mean or anything. Just go ahead and help the community if you can. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.